a very integral part of your career. It's also something that's been very dear to you. Was the whole Kolkata Knight Riders experience in the IPL, where you eventually did go on to win two titles, an orange cap, and whatnot. But what was the whole evolution like? Because you've been there for a really, really long time at one franchise. So, what for you was the whole journey like? What kind of changed and what didn't throughout the whole KKR experience?
Coming from Pune was a very pleasant change.
Yeah.
Simply because of the results we had, as a team, Pune Warriors. We didn't do very well there in Pune Warriors as a team, despite having superstars in that group. And having said that, once I got to KKR, it was my experience was unlike any other franchise, because my initial years in Mumbai Indians, my first year was in Mumbai Indians, and everyone was learning the tricks at that point in time. My next couple of years were with RCB, where things were just beginning to get professional, and then my next 3 years were with Pune Warriors, who were a new franchise, so they were also learning the tricks at that time. And then by the time I reached KKR, they have been in the system from the get-go, and the way they treat the people is phenomenal, and I think is right up there with the best teams today. Extremely professional. They look after their players really well. Venki Mysore is a fantastic person who handles the team beautifully. Gotti was superb. Was truly superb, I think, as a leader. Initially, Gotti and I had a few challenges, but once we got past those challenges, man, it was challenges of ideas at that point in time. But once we got past the idea of, we went on to win the IPL, and then since then it's it just became Gottappa after that, right? It was phenomenal. We had a lot of fun. There was a lot of faith in each other. And I think that initial hurdle that we had to overcome, when we overcame that hurdle, I think our relationship as batting partners, as friends, just kind of changed, and there's an enormous amount of trust and respect with each other, and I think that just blossomed and just showed on the field, and just the way we ran between wickets and the decisions we made together on the field. Faith that he had in my inputs as a wicket keeper, just helped us a lot, and he made us a formidable side and kept in a competitive space till he left KKR.
What, in your opinion, made Gautam Gambhir the kind of successful captain that he was at the franchise? Was it more the tactical side of his, or was it the man management aspect of Gambhir?
One was he was very hands off. He would allow players to express themselves. He wouldn't interfere too much with their preparation. Two was he was extremely proactive captain. Always an over or two ahead of the game. How very ahead of where the game currently is, the ability to have foresight, and that's something possessed, and I think still possesses as a human being. And I think that's something that he's very good at, actually, to him, and was something that I really appreciate about him. When a current over was, sometimes you would ask suggestions about who should bowl 2 overs from now, and just give you an insight as to how far ahead he was thinking after, right? And I think that was what stood out with him, and the fact that he allowed everyone to be themselves and didn't interfere, and have fun with each other, and gave everyone their space. I think that was what made him that successful.
Also, I mean, one of those impulsive things that you did, which eventually turned out to be a huge success for you as an individual, was to just get off this bus in Belgium and then ring up Mr. Praveen Amre and then get him on board as your personal coach. It was a very tennis thing. It's a very Sheetal thing to do, isn't it? I mean, to have a personal coach was a bit unheard of as far as cricketers were concerned back then. But it's a move that eventually paid off. I mean, how did that come about?
It's a decision that gave me a lot of flack for after that little while, because it was unheard of in cricket till that point in time to have a personal coach, batting coach, and all that. And I think it was my time in my tenure in Pune Warriors when Sir and I were both in that side. So it was the batting coach, and discussing with him, and I just was going through a lot of personal issues, which I kind of overcame in my 3rd year of the IPL with Pune Warriors. Third year of my association with Pune Warriors, and that's when I kind of my passion for the game, my desire to excel and succeed, and I was able to overcome most of my personal battles that I was going through, and I was just able to focus solely on cricket. And I was having a conversation with Praveen sir, and where I told him that uh, about how I felt about the game again, and he saw that passion within me, and he made a suggestion to me during the course of that tournament where he made a small technical change, and I went on score. I think I played RCB in that game, and I scored, I think, a 5-ball 70 or something like that, and after the game, we had a laugh where I said, "Sir, we should do this. You should become my personal batting coach. Like how tennis players have personal coaches for each tennis player, you should become my personal batting coach." And we had a big laugh about it at that point in time. But after the IPL got over, I took a break. I think I was in Spain when I was at a bus stop, and I said, maybe I should just call him up. It was funny how that happened. Honestly, Arun, it's an interesting story actually. I got on a bus. I had my credit cards, but I didn't have change with me. I didn't have money to pay for the bus to buy a ticket. And when in these buses in Spain and in Europe, you get into the bus and then you pay the driver and you come out, right? And then I had to pay a certain amount, and then I didn't have that certain amount. And then I had only that amount. So I had 5 euros or something, and then he said 5 euros. I gave him 5 euros, and then he said it's going to stop there. So I sat down. I couldn't understand the language as to where they were going to stop. I didn't understand Spanish at that point in time. I just don't. But I was tension as well, sitting down in thought, and I missed my stop. And then when you want to get off, you can ring a bell there on the bus. So I rang the bell and we're stopping at the next stop, and then the next stop was about 8 or 9 kilometers away, and I was like, how am I going to get back? And there was no ATM close by. There was no, and it was a freeway, so there were no ATMs close by, no petrol bunks, and the closest petrol bunk was about 2 or 3 kilometers from where that was. So I walked back on the freeway, which was an extremely scary experience. And in that walk back is when I was just thinking about what should I do as far as my cricket is concerned? Give me an opportunity to think. And then when I got tired in that walk, I kind of stopped at a station, at a petrol station, and then gas station. And I got something, and I sat down at a bus stop, and just to I still couldn't withdraw money, but I sat down at a bus stop, and then that's when I said, "Sir, I think we should work together." And very sweetly he said to me that I'm okay to do so, but I want to ask my coach first. And his coach was Ramakant Achareka sir.
Achareka sir.
So he called, and he was very close to Achareka sir, and so he spoke to Achareka sir, and Achareka sir gave him his blessing and said, "You can go ahead and coach Robin." And that's when we decided to work together, and it took me a while, and the reason I want to work together is because I want to pursue playing Test cricket for India, and I knew I had to overhaul my technique. And yes, I knew I was an aggressive player till that point in time. I knew I had to compromise on aggression and focus on being more consistent and technically correct, and I did achieve that. I worked hard for a couple of years, and I kind of reached a place where I played for Pune Warriors for 1 more year in 2013. And then I went to the auction, and I got bought by KKR. And by then I was already I played only 4 matches, I think, for Karnataka in that season because I injured myself. I played for India A already by that point in time. A lot of runs by then.
In Australia.
Scored runs in Australia. So I was pretty successful, and I became a very consistent and technically correct batsman. Even though I lost out a lot of my aggression that people saw. The people keep talking about the walking assassin and me playing aggressive shots and taking back to the bowlers. People saw a lot less of that, and people saw a lot more. And it's simply because of me trying to pursue playing Test cricket for India, which is my dream at that point in time. Because I rekindled my passion for the game, I was able to feel that urge and that need to want to try and fulfill that dream. And for me, it's not about. I think it's not the end result that matters, but I think the fact that today I'm entirely satisfied. And today, even when I retire cricket, I'm not going to regret the fact that I gave up being aggressive to try and pursue, because today I know how much value that period has added to me as a human being, as a person, as an athlete, as a cricketer, as a batsman, just that technical knowledge about batting that I have, the way I help a lot of other guys, a lot of my other teammates, a lot of my other friends with their batting, my understanding of batting and my own brain as to how I see, how I perceive batting. So all of these things have been, I've been able to achieve because I went through that phase. And I'm eternally grateful for that phase. I'm eternally grateful to Praveen sir for who he is and the role that he plays in my life, and someone that I still reach out to for anything, anything that I need. And for me, I think in the long run, this has been something that that has helped me and will help a lot of people that I will interact with later.
Was that 2014 IPL the culmination of everything that came together? I mean, after this whole recalibration had come complete.
So the change began in 2012.
Yeah.
2012 July 1st, the change began, and by the time, and I had no confidence in myself as a batsman till I think till end of 2013. 2014, because I had to undo everything. I had to unlearn everything I knew as a batsman, and everything that came to me naturally, and learn new things, and strip away everything that came naturally to me, and so that I could correct myself technically as a batsman. And I was able to do that, and then it took me a year and a half before I could have confidence in myself. And after, it took me a lot of performances, and then is when I felt like I have complete confidence in myself. And then that's when like the IPL 20 happened, and in that IPL. So for me, that journey is something that I think I've spoken about once, where it was something that whole year and a half, 2 years, I think I lived outside of my comfort zone and just got comfortable living on. So, and completely worth it, and something that I will never exchange for ever.
So that Praveen Amre story was something quite remarkable at that point of time, and we did eventually have guys like Dinesh Karthik, of course, also reaching out to people like Abhishek Nair, taking the personal coach route. But what after that have been the knock-on effects for you as a batsman, as an individual, in terms of the growth that you have achieved? Would you say that you are at an incredibly happy place right now?
Well, yeah, man. So basically, obviously, I know I made that change to my technique and overhaul, and got to a place where I want to give myself the best chance to play Test cricket, and I did really well in first class cricket in that point in time. And after that, I've been extremely successful in first class cricket after that, and I still didn't make it to the Test side, and I think at 32 I felt like, given the scenarios in Indian cricket and the abundance of talent that we have, I felt that a guy at 32 will probably have a lesser chance of making it to the Test side than a guy at 22 or 23 who's performing well. So for me, I decided that at that whole time when I made that change from 2012 to 2016, 2017. Even though I was being extremely consistent in performing well in scoring runs, there was a part in me that was always dealing with a conflict about not being able to play my natural game, and I knew that I wasn't being aggressive as I want to be, and that was something that was only eating at me for a very long time, and I wanted to address, and I wanted to I knew that at some point that it would come out and it would kind of manifest in my so what I at 32 I felt like maybe now is the good time to come back. I haven't made the Test side, but I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm at peace with the fact that I gave my best and I left on in my effort to try and make the Test side, try and play Test cricket for India, and then I felt I want to retransition back into what is naturally my to get there, and I've slowly gotten there right now. And in fact, I was really excited about playing this IPL because it would have given me an opportunity to kind of portray my skills to all of my supporters who have supported me through all of these years, despite how I played. To experience me batting the way that they've always loved to watch me.
Right.
Time, and we're hoping that this pandemic is not as bad as it can be, and be able to play some cricket. And I will be able to express and portray their skills to the people who supported me for so long.
You have, of course, played for Saurashtra and now Kerala in the domestic circuit. Haven't you sort of been tempted to give up the red ball format and focus entirely on white ball cricket, and just so that you could also prolong your career that bit longer? Has that thought ever occurred to you?
No, man, it hasn't occurred to me. As in, for me, I loved playing for Saurashtra. And
right.
I love Kerala, and I think what I enjoy most about first class cricket is the red ball cricket. The fact that you can challenge yourself so much is something that I've truly enjoyed. Yes, I have to be honest, sometimes the fielding can get a little boring in 4-day cricket, but outside of that, I've completely enjoyed 4-day cricket, man. It's a lot of fun. It tests me as an athlete, as a human being, and I'm willing to put myself out there. And I know that I have to look after myself, and I feel like I'm looking after myself pretty well, and I feel like I'm healthy, and I feel good. I feel excited about playing cricket. The day I don't feel excited about playing cricket, the day I don't feel competitive as a cricketer or an athlete, the day I feel like I'm not going out there to give my best and I'm just doing this for some other reason, I will not play cricket. And as I don't think I'll feel that, because I feel extremely blessed to be able to play cricket today, to be able to pursue my passion as my career, which not a lot of people are blessed to do. Blessed to have, and I'm eternally grateful to God for it. And I feel like once I stop playing cricket, I can't play cricket anymore. So let me play cricket for as long as I want to play cricket, and my heart wants to play cricket, and I want to be competitive. And I'm playing cricket because I want to win championships. I want to I want to be part of group that will win championships, and I want to add value to any team that I play for, and help championships. And I think that's what keeps me going. And as long as that keeps me going, I'll still play cricket, man.
You are a KKR legend. You've always been one. But last year, when you played that crunch game against Mumbai Indians, the whole 47 ball 40 thing, obviously things came unstuck a bit, and there was as you would expect, a lot of trolling as well on social media, by the very fans that usually celebrate you. Do you remember that night well, and what transpired after that innings?
I sensed that after that innings that would be my time in KKR. I sensed, I had a feeling that I may not come back to KKR after that.
Right.
Because everyone is allowed to have bad games, and it happens to everyone. Everyone has embarrassing games. Everyone have bad days at the office and embarrassing days at the office. But it doesn't undo the fact that I've added value to KKR over the last years. And I think initially hard because I have never received hatred or negative comments or hate in that sense, in that form from fans. They've always been extremely loving and kind to me, and it just gave me an understanding that it's going to happen, and people are going to feel justified to express their emotions the way they are expressing it to you. Although I did feel it was and I think if you can, I think the same people who would abuse you, if they meet you up, they meet you face to face, would want a photograph with you. And I think social media in that sense is the bane of social media is that you get to hear, I think there are a lot of cowards on social media who can only talk behind their walls and and their profiles, but when you meet them up face to face, I don't think they will really do that, because at the end of the day, it's I think because we play the sport, we're affected more deeply than others who are watching the sport. We cannot question
Absolutely.
other people who are watching the sport, but I think when we are directly related to winning or losing the game, right? So for us, the way we perform, the way we play, I think no one feels more bad than not performing than the athlete himself or herself.
Correct.
With performances, you just say that hey, you don't want it to happen, but happen, and you deal with it. You take it on your chest and you say, yeah, you played badly. You take ownership for it. You take responsibility for the fact that you played badly. But it doesn't done it in the past. Doesn't define you. It doesn't define your future either, right? It's something that happened to you. You live through it, and what you live through, stronger, man. And that's I'm a firm believer of that. And I've possibly let down or made upset a few KKR fans, maybe more than a few KKR fans, but I've also brought them a lot of class over the years that I've played for KKR, and I've made peace with it, and I'm comfortable with it, and I when I think back of my time in KKR, I have this memories, especially of the people in Calcutta, and I'm eternally grateful for my time in Calcutta and the people of Calcutta, and the love that I've received from the people of Calcutta and KKR supporters. They've been so loving and so kind, and I choose to take that as my memories of KKR than that one game for me.
Correct.
Because I'm more than that one game. I think any athlete is more than their one bad performance.
Very true. Very true.
Right. So and life's bigger than that, and that's
our game,
and then your successes, and I'm one who firmly believes in that, and I take that in my stride and say it's up to me to choose what I'm going to I'm going to take as my memories from KKR, and I take all the fondest ones, and for me they are home. I love them. I love KKR. I love the fans of Calcutta as a city. I love Calcutta, and I always forever will, and I'm always and forever will be grateful for them for their love and support of me. I'm looking forward to playing for RR, man, and I've had whatever little time I've spent. I've really enjoyed my experience of RR so far, and I'm extremely excited to be a part of that side and play cricket and bring another championship to RR, hopefully, with play, and hopefully we'll be able to do that as a group, and that's what we're all excited to do.
Aren't you also channeling another dimension of yours as far as RR is concerned? You're also looking to equip yourself as a finisher of sorts as well, aren't you? I mean, should the demand arise?
I think it's more than an RR perspective. I think it's a more personal perspective for me, because I think what has happened with me my entire career is that I've scored runs in domestic cricket as an opening batsman, and when I end up playing for India, I end up playing in the middle order. I don't think that served me a lot, and that change when that happens when I get into the Indian team, I don't think that served me in the long. So what I felt I should do is just look to bat in that position that if I ever get selected for India again, then I'm able to at the position that I'm usually playing at, right?
Correct.
And then I actually do justice to the opportunities that I get, and that's honestly what I'm trying to do, man. I'm just trying to equip myself to the best of my ability as a middle order batsman and try and finish games, because that's what I've gotten to play for India when I've gotten to play for India, and do my best, and and that's where I even got thrown at in the middle order last year for KKR. Is I was thrown in the middle order and asked to do something that I was not prepared for, and then made me feel that I need to equip myself to do that successfully, because given where I'm at and given my age, it's only going to be it's obvious that younger ones who are coming up the ranks are going to especially guys who bat in the top order, are going to get that opportunity to play the top order. Teams have become less patient with, the older, the professional pros not performing. I think the only team that has been extremely patient, I think, has been CSK, and I think that's one of the they're so successful, that they put so much of faith in their players. So, and when the players do repose faith, then they repose it in a big way, right? And not all teams are like that. And I think that's what happens. And given those scenarios, for me, I feel that it's best for me to equip myself to perform well as a finisher. I know opening batting comes naturally to me and takes little lesser work, and batting as a finisher would do so. I'm doing my best to equip myself with the best of my ability as a finisher, which is something that I've done well for maybe RCB a little bit, in the past, a little bit for Pune Warriors, and so for KKR. Middle overs is where I batted well. When they put me in the middle order, but for the most part, as an opening batsman, I've done extremely well for them. But yeah, as in coming into RR, looking at the side, looking at the permutations, combinations of the side, I see myself playing a role in middle order, lower middle order, where I play the role of a finisher, if not as a middle order batsman. So I'm going to take the spinners on and looks to finish the game. So that's the role that I see myself doing and performing. And they want me to open the batting, my hands are up, and I'll always be up to open the batting for the side. Get a good start. But what I'm really excited about doing is to really go out there and express myself for who I am truly as a cricketer and athlete, and really raring to go about that part first.
And speaking of personalities, again, I'm sure Sheetal obviously has given you the much needed. I mean, on one hand it's companionship, on the other hand it's also a different perspective altogether, where, I mean, she comes from a sporting background as well. And also in terms of learning to let go of certain things, how much has she been helpful with regards to that?
Well, Sheets has obviously been a great support to me the last 10 years, 12 years that I've known Sheets. And someone that has always supported me and rooted for me and wanted the best things for me. And since we've been married and since Neil has come along, we've it's just segregated by itself. It's become a non-effort, honestly, where I'm able to take it, and I'm able to be available as a husband and as a father while I'm at home. So it's been both, and Sheets. I think when you live together, after a point in time, you understand your roles, and it just kind of you bifurcate and fall into those roles pretty simply. And we're able to do that, and we value, because there's few and far in between. So we truly value the time that we have right now, and it's great to be a part of Neil's everyday life, where I'm not thinking about when the next match is, right? Also there, but even though there is a mind about when can I pick it again, because but sure, I'm available for Neil's formative years, so which is very important.
Which is actually great to know. And
sorry about that. Yeah, sorry.
No worries at all. Yeah, that much brighter and fresher, in fact. Just before we let you go, we just have a series of softball questions, not particularly rapid fire. But yeah, questions that are probably a little on the quirky side. So, of course, your entire family, all of you, you're all huge Christopher Nolan fans, of course. You named your son after him, at least partially. Yes. So if you were to star, hypothetically, in a Christopher Nolan film, which one would you pick?
So many. Possibly The Prestige.
The Prestige, right. Interesting. And one character from a fiction that you have really enjoyed reading and something that you identify with.
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, interesting choice again. And the best captain that you've ever played under? MS. And one bowler from the past that you haven't obviously played against, but you'd really love to take guard?
Curtly Ambrose.
Curtly Ambrose, okay. And if you were to start your cricketing career all over again, and the stipulation is that you can't become a batsman, what would you pick?
Leg spinner.
Leg spinner or an off spinner?
Leg spinner.
Right. And now that you play for Kerala and you've also grown up all your life in Karnataka, of course, there have been lots of fans of yours who have been wanting for you to speak both in Kannada and Malayalam. Which of the two languages do you think you're better at?
Obviously Kannada, because I've grown up here, and I speak Kannada a lot more often than I speak Malayalam. I think the fact that Sheeta is also Kannadiga, we speak a little bit more at home, and we do watch Malayalam movies, right? But I'm a lot more fluent in Kannada. Kannada ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದೆ, this is all the people who've been asking me and requesting me to speak Kannada.
Asking for you, yeah.
ಒಂದಿನ ಬರೀ ಕನ್ನಡದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಲೈವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ. ಇವನಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಅಂತ. ಒಂದಿನ ಬರೀ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಗೈಸ್. എനിക്ക് മലയാളം
ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಗುರು.
നല്ലതല്ല, സോ ഞാൻ മലയാളം എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവും, മിക്കവാറും എല്ലാം മനസ്സിലാവും, പക്ഷെ സംസാരിക്കാൻ കുറച്ച് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണ്.
കുഴപ്പമില്ല റോബിൻ, അത് ഒരുപാട് ഫ്ലുവന്റ് ആയിട്ടുണ്ട് മലയാളം. Karun had just popped in. The moment you spoke Malayalam, Karun had just popped in. I actually put him through a much harder test. In fact, I made him string together a sentence combining both Kannada and Malayalam, and he actually managed to do a fairly good job of that. Yeah, and
it's very competitive.
Yeah.
Whatever you throw at it, come up with a good answer.
Oh, he wants to know how was Karun Nair as a substitute.
Karun is one of my favorite people that I've played cricket with. I'm very fond of him, and Karun is what we used to call a mopops around. Okay, but he's very competitive and he loves to win. He loves to win. He's always someone that I've enjoyed playing with, and I've enjoyed having him around. And he's a very good friend, someone that I hold dear to me in my life, and I'm very grateful that I came across him and that he's a part of my life today. And he's a good guy, out and out good guy.
Yeah, he certainly loves to take the mickey out of you, so that's also pretty nice to see. And I mean, just one last question before we let you go, Robin. Since it's pretty much the time for throwbacks, what would the Robin Uthappa of now tell a 20-year-old Robin Uthappa?
I would shake him up and tell him that I would tell him to focus on himself and live for himself. Because if he is happy, then the people around him will be happy. And it doesn't work the other way around. So I think if I had to meet him, I'd shake him up and say, you know what, buddy, live for yourself. If you're happy, people around you will be happy.
And you've always been comfortable with the Uttappam comparisons, the references that have always come up?
Uttappam, Upma, Parota, lots of funny stuff that are there. So I'm comfortable with it now.
Thank you so much, Robin. As always, you are as eloquent as you're a good sport, and you've always managed to come up with the most entertaining tales. And here's wishing you the very best. Here's wishing you the very best as far as the rest of your career unfolds, and we're also looking forward to an exciting career as far as Robin Uthappa, the broadcaster, is concerned. Once you're finished hanging your boots, so yeah, there are quite a lot of things to look forward from Robin Uthappa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Arun. This is fun. Thanks a lot. Thank you for everyone who joined us. Thank you very much for all your support and love, and thanks again. This was fun, and I'll see you soon, man. Take care.
Thanks, Robbie. Take care and be well. Thanks so much. Cheers.